previous class on geriatric nutrition. Today, I would like us to look at malnutrition in elderly clients. I'm called Edward Linton. Now, when we talk of malnutrition, um, a lot of people struggle to understand the concept, but it can be understood in very simple ways. The word mal means bad or poor. Then nutrition, we know what nutrition is. So when we say malnutrition, it is bad nutrition or poor nutrition. Now the badness can be either in the being under or over nutrition, of which undernutrition is whereby an individual is unable to meet uh, their nutrient requirement. Then overnutrition is whereby an individual exceeds their body's nutrient requirement. So when we are talking of malnutrition, you think of under and overnutrition in the aspect of how the individual meets their nutrient requirement. Now, there are risk factors to malnutrition in older adults. If you remember our previous classes, whereby we looked at um, changes which occur during aging. An example of a risk factor, we have poor appetite, we have difficulty chewing or swallowing, we have chronic diseases. So you find that if you have poor appetite, you cannot eat. If you cannot be able to chew or swallow, your intake is compromised. If you have chronic diseases, these also have a way in which they affect the nutrition status. And of course, chronic diseases make people to take uh, um, medication. And it's even worse when an individual has metabolic syndrome. So they end up practicing polypharmacy. And these medications have side effects. And these side effects can, of course, affect your appetite, affect how the body utilizes nutrients, how it is absorbed, and all that. Then inadequate dietary intake, which can be as a result of an individual maybe not being able to afford uh, health meals, or as a result of the other factors which we looked at above. Then impaired absorption and digestion, and of course, substance abuse in the form of alcohol and drug abuse. Then you also have socio-economic factors such as poverty, which can affect the person's access to health care, and also because because they have no poor access to healthcare. It can also affect their nutrition status, because when you look at the conceptual framework of malnutrition, you find that uh, uh, like uh, healthcare or an healthy environment is under what we call the underlying causes of malnutrition. Then, of course, you find that poverty and the rest, they are under the basic causes. So then we have age-related factors, and of course, the age-related factors are those the changes which occur during aging, which we looked at in our previous slides, which affect, of course, appetite, affect the individual's ability to move. If you cannot move, you are unable to access healthy food. You are unable to prepare healthy food. Then, yes, so those are some of the risk factors for malnutrition. Now, let's look at older individuals at risk of malnutrition. Who are these older individuals at risk of malnutrition? Now, older individuals, we have the older adults, of course, the normal older adults who are at risk of malnutrition as a result of the age-related changes, such as decrease in appetite, impaired nutrient intake, social isolation. So all these, they can bring about malnutrition in them. Then, of course, among the older individuals, there are those who have disabilities, people with disabilities who are old. These ones, they have physical, cognitive, and social challenges which affect their ability either to access healthy food or to eat or intake healthy food. and utilize it. Then we have among the older adults, we, um, we have individuals with eating disorders. Those eating disorders, example, we have anorexia nervosa, we have bulimia nervosa. Anorexia nervosa is where an individual lacks appetite, and of course, it's not that they don't have appetite, but the issue is they have that poor self-image about themselves. They are cautious about weight gain, so they feel like their weight is so high that they need to limit nutrient intake. Some of them rely on supplements. WHO has already characterized or categorized it as a mental disorder. Then, in bulimia nervosa, these individuals do not directly limit food intake. They eat normal food. You go with them maybe out. Um, you eat normal food. They serve them. They eat and finish the plate, food in the plate. Then they can excuse themselves. They go maybe to the washroom and induce vomiting. So they vomit all the food. Hence, the food is not absorbed by the body. Then we have among the older patients, older adults, who have the hospitalized patients, especially those who have prolonged stays in the hospitals, those with surgical procedures and stress. So prolonged stays in the hospital can also affect an individual's nutrient intake. You find that first of all, they lack appetite. I know people who, when they're in the hospital, they don't want to eat. They say the hospital environment uh, is not like, they say it's not appetizing for them. Like, it makes them to lose their appetite. Then we have those who have scheduled surgical procedures. Of course, they will be told, you don't eat for this number, for this period, maybe hours. Like, don't eat solid food, only eat this. So now it all comes to the caretaker, if they are able to formulate a nutritionally adequate diet for such a person. Then you have older persons who are refugees and displaced. These have undergone forced migration, and because they have been forced to migrate, they are in an area whereby they lack resources. Maybe they left their food in the garden, they left their harvested food. Hence, they have to rely on humanitarian assistance. This might not be adequate enough to maintain their nutritional status. Now, we have looked at malnutrition. What is malnutrition? Those at risk of malnutrition. Now, let's look at the types of malnutrition. I already said mal means poor. Poor can be in form of under or over. So now types of malnutrition. We have undernutrition, we have overnutrition. Now, um, common undernutrition in older adults. We have one, protein energy malnutrition. Protein energy malnutrition can, we are saying it's inadequate protein and energy intake, which can lead to conditions like kwashiorkor and marasmus. Then we have micronutrient deficiencies, which is also known as hidden hunger. Uh, Here, it results from inadequate intake of essential vitamins and minerals, which can cause conditions such as anemia, scurvy, rickets, and all that. Of course, like for rickets, that is for young children who are still growing. But in an older adult, now that will not be rickets. It can be any other condition, maybe osteomalacia, osteoporosis, all that. Now, overnutrition in older adults. Overnutrition is a form of malnutrition whereby the individual has, like, take in excess of what excess nutrients of what the body requires. So, like, their daily intake exceeds the daily requirement. So we say they are overnourished. Um, of course, overnutrition. We have an example: obesity. Obesity is excessive calorie intake and sedentary. So obesity, you're saying excessive calorie intake and sedentary lifestyle can lead to obesity, increasing the risk of chronic disease. Of course, obesity is a chronic disease itself, but also developing obesity is a risk factor for other chronic diseases such as high blood pressure, type 2 diabetes mellitus, cancer, other heart diseases. So you have obesity, you are at risk of those other conditions. Then, let's look at consequences of malnutrition in older adults. What are those effects or dangers of malnutrition in older adults? One, there is it causes muscle wasting. Muscle wasting in nutrition, when you say wasting, it means to thin or to lose weight, to emaciate. Uh, so muscle wasting is whereby an individual loses their muscles, so they become thin. Then it also causes immune dysfunction, making the individual weak in terms of their body immunity and susceptible to other diseases. There is increased risk of falls and fractures. That's if the individual, let's say, has osteoporosis. So when they fall, they can easily fracture. There is delayed wound healing. Of course, the delayed wound healing comes due to the immune dysfunction and all that. Then there's longer hospital stays, immune dysfunction, which brings about that because the body is unable to fully recover or faster. There is, of course, when there is longer stay in the hospital, then there's increased healthcare costs, and there is depression, irritability, and difficulty concentrating. All this can be linked to malnutrition. Now, how do we diagnose and assess? Diagnosing malnutrition um, or uh, uh, nutrition assessment takes has several methods. The first one, we have use of medical history and physical examination. Medical history, what has this person been suffering from um, frequently? Physical examination, how do they look? Um, what is how are their eyes looking? Uh, what's the color of their hair? How about their skin? Is it wasted? So that is physical examination. Then there are also nutritional screening tools like the malnutrition universal screening tool and the mini nutritional assessment, which can help to identify individuals who are at risk of malnutrition. These tools identify those who are at risk of malnutrition. Besides that, uh, interventions can be put in place to prevent them uh, from their conditions from exacerbating. Then we can also do laboratory tests to assess, for example, nutrient levels and detect deficiencies. This is especially for uh, trying to detect micronutrient deficiencies. Then we can also do imaging uh, studies like the dual energy X-ray absorptiometry, which can assess body composition and identify malnutrition related changes. So these are ways in which you can be able to, to determine those at risk of malnutrition and also those uh, who are malnourished. Of course, there are very many. So now, when you know that so and so is malnourished or is at risk of malnutrition, you don't stop there. There are interventions that you're supposed to put in place. One, you can do dietary modifications. We're going to look at dietary modifications in diet therapy one. Yeah. In dietary modifications, we try to adjust food intake to meet individual nutrient needs. individual's nutrient needs. So an individual who needs more intake of potassium, yeah, the food will be adjusted such that there is more potassium in the diet. An individual who needs less intake of fats, yes, the food will be adjusted such that it contains less fats. So that is dietary modification. You modify the normal, you adjust the normal diet to suit the condition of that individual. Then we have nutritional supplementation. In nutrition supplementation, this is where we use supplements which can be oral or intravenous uh, to address deficiencies. These ones they can be bought over the counter. Uh, they can be prescribed. Some people buy them over the counter, though it is better uh, to have a prescription. Then we have medical interventions. Here we treat underlying medical conditions which contribute to malnutrition. Because when you look at the conceptual framework of malnutrition, um, the immediate cause, one of the immediate cause of malnutrition is infection, not disease. So if it is not treated, the individual will continue being malnourished. Then rehabilitation and physical therapy. This is to improve muscle strength and mobility. Remember, under the consequences of malnutrition, we said one of them is uh, muscle wasting. Now, when they regain their muscles, of course, they need to be rehabilitated to improve their muscle strength and mobility. And then we have mental support, uh, mental health support to address psychological factors contributing to malnutrition. Remember, I said under the eating disorders, anorexia, nervosa, and bulimia, nervosa, I said WHO categorized them as being mental disorders. So if someone has such disorders, they need to undergo mental health support uh, so that they are able to be talked out of such a behavior. Then, of course, long-term care and monitoring. After you have done your interventions, you don't stop there. You need to be monitoring uh, the individuals to see that they don't go back, they don't relapse and go back to how they were before. To see that they don't again become malnourished once after some time. So you need to continue monitoring them. Then, how can we prevent malnutrition? We can prevent malnutrition in a number of ways. Uh, One, public health initiatives. These public health initiatives they implement programs which focus on nutrition education, food security, healthcare access healthcare access to improve overall population health. So these are initiatives which help in preventing malnutrition. Then we have community-based programs which establish local they establish local programs which provide nutrition counseling, food assistance, and support for individuals at risk of malnutrition. Then we have nutrition education. And nutrition education, here we promote awareness and teach individuals on how to make healthy food choices, how to compose their diet so that they have a balanced diet, how to meet their nutrient needs. So this is under nutrition education. Then enabling access to healthy food, affordable, healthy food. This is, of course, this can be addressed through uh, 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 improving food security. So, encouraging nutritious and affordable food availability in communities, schools, and workplaces. So, when people have access to affordable and healthy foods, then they will not be malnourished. Then, lastly, early identification and intervention. Remember, I said some of the tools, like some of the tools which we looked at, they identify individuals at risk, not when they are already malnourished, but when they are at risk. So early identification is very important. So when you find those at risk, you're able to intervene and prevent them from becoming malnourished. Then also early intervention is not only for those at risk, but even those who have just become malnourished, such that you don't identify them when they're already they are severely malnourished. So here we can implement screening and early intervention programs to identify and address malnutrition risk factors before they become severe. Uh, Thank you so much. Uh, let's meet next time for um, another session. Bye.